Good afternoon and good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining the webinar today. Today we'll be discussing using new technology to solve the challenges of infringing listings on online marketplaces and social media sites. Today our topic will be uh, image recognition versus the fashion space. And I'd like to make an introduction to those of you joining us. My name is Daniel Shapiro, and I lead our global strategic partnerships. Along with me today is our Chief Technology Officer, Juan Galdeano, and our Head of Solutions Engineer Team for the sales organization, Ollie Bolton. The three of us today will be your panelists, and we will look forward to any questions you may have for us. There is the option to ask a question as we go along with the webinar. Please feel free to put in a question at any time, and we'll be happy to answer those questions. During our webinar today, we'll be covering three areas: lookalikes in the fashion industry, a challenge to a challenging problem, employing image recognition to protect brands, a new solution for an old problem, and a brief demo to show you what it looks like in real life. So the main topic this morning will be, this afternoon, will be the lookalikes in the fashion industry, and what do we do to solve that challenge? One of the things I think we wanted to do this morning is to discuss the challenges with brand protection and the constant chase of counterfeits, replicas, lookalikes, and knockoff. Sometimes one of the biggest challenges is getting on the same page, as it can feel like there are many names for these infringements that take place. Different people use different terms. So for the purpose of this webinar today, I thought what we do is discuss terms that we could use throughout this presentation that are the same. They may be different than what you use in your own brand or your own practice, but for today's purposes, we'll use these particular definitions. So counterfeit or replica, those are products that uses the trademark of your brand that purport to be original or authentic and try to really fake out the consumer that it's actually an original item. Lookalikes or copycats or knockoffs are generally a product that is designed to look just like the brand, but in often cases they remove the logo or the trademark so that when listing the product, it doesn't seem to have your brand in title, or it doesn't seem to have your brand on the product, but looks confusingly similar for sure. And then lastly, the challenge of these infringing listings, in some cases, the brand, as I mentioned previously, isn't in the title. So one of the things that we find many people do in the online marketplace world is begin to remove the brand name in the title of the item so that it becomes a circumvention technique used by counterfeiters to avoid detection. And today, that is becoming one of the frustrating elements and companies that are designed to help brands solve counterfeits. And it's one of the biggest challenges for brands today is actually finding those products when the name is missing. One of the thought processes today why this is such a big challenge is with the multiple marketplaces and social media platforms, there are billions of listings out there. So when people hide behind using the brand name or don't use the brand name, searching that vast size of e-commerce can be extremely challenging. So one of the things we want to talk about is this is one of the oldest problems in the challenge of keeping up with detection today and enforcement. Our options have really just been in the past, keywords and coming up with new keywords to find out how counterfeiters are evading, this detection. Today, we're talking about how do we change the game? What do we do differently to make it more difficult for counterfeiters, and maybe in one instance, meet the pace of these counterfeiters by deploying all sorts of new technology to manage that. So today, we deploy things like machine learning to help generate new search terms, and different pieces of artificial intelligence to keep us in pace. So how do we do that? Well, let me introduce you again to Juan Galdeano, our CTO, who will walk you through and share with you what it feels like and what the future looks like as we fight this problem. Juan, maybe I'll let you take it from here and begin to explain to our audience how it is we deploy this new piece of technology or new pieces of technology to make an impact in this challenging space.
Thank you, Daniel, and thank you everyone to attend to this webinar. We're trying to talk about and try to show you how we use machine learning techniques in order to simplify and automate the process of detection and validation of the infringement that we can find in internet. The technology that we're going to see is about image recognition, image fingerprinting, image searching, and logo recognition. None of these techniques alone can solve the problem, so we mix all of them in order to get good results. Imagine that this is the space that we are looking for. So every dot in this slide is just a listing. Could be a counterfeit, could be a legit product, could be whatever. But we have to find the infringers inside this space. So the initial approach is we're using targeted search keyword. That is very specific search keywords, trying to be very, very accurate in the search. So when we detect exactly the asset that we are looking for, but that have a problem. The matching result is high, so it's very accurate, but we are missing a lot of infringements. So how we deal with this? So we need to use broader search keywords. That means that we are going to put in the platform a lot of listings, tons of listings. What is the problem? In these days, we are talking about millions of listings. That is impossible to work in a manual work to validate or assert that the listing contains the asset that we are protecting. We introduce all of them in the system with some matching results. How we got these matching results? Using different techniques like image recognition, we train models to try to find out the object of the asset that we are protecting inside different images. If the score that we get from these images is high enough, and we are confident to move forward, we can qualify in this listing that this is the asset we're looking for and start with the validation process automatically. For example, this is image recognition fashion. We train the models using specific characteristics of the products, not even the product itself, the full product, maybe just part of the product. And we train models with different images, good images and bad images. And we get results where these 3 different images all tell me that the product is included in the listing. So we can validate. Yeah.
May I ask you just a quick question, not to interrupt you, but I've had you showed me a lot of examples in the past where sometimes you'll even find this in the background. It may not even be the picture in the front. Is that true sometimes?
Yeah, it's true, because we don't train with the full image, and we train with a lot of different images containing the bottle. We can train with the, like you can see, with the hand holding the bottle, with the person drinking from the bottle, in a backpack, in a set of bottles, even in a banner or sections of the bottle. We try to find out, in this case, this part of the image. We train models with this part because it's the unique part for this article. So every image that contains this will be validated as okay. Imagine that we have the same bottle, but without this part. We are not going to detect this one, okay? Because we train the model with this one. Usually it's easier to do this. Imagine we can train models using the model itself, the person, and not the product, because usually the person is hired by a brand to show the product. So we can train with the face of the model. In image fingerprinting, that the other technique, we are just finding exactly the same images. Imagine that we are talking about catalog images. The infringer usually use the same image that the original products. So we can detect this image, even variations of the same image. For example, the first case is easy because it's exactly the same one. The second clearly is not the image, so we're going to remove this one. The third is the same product with different colors. For fingerprinting, it's still valid image, so we still move forward with this one. And even with a slight difference like this one without the brand, you see that the logo is not here anymore. So we still know that this is still the product, is the image of the product. So we can validate this also. Even with collage of images or with cropped images, we can do it, or flipped images, that kind of things. Everything works with fingerprinting. But the difference between recognition and fingerprinting is, in this case, we're looking for exactly this image in fingerprinting, and in recognition, we are looking for specific parts. So it's wider image recognition than fingerprinting. The other technique that we use is logo recognition. Logo could be present in the image or in the box or even in a banner inside the advertise. So we gather all the logos that are present in the images, and we score those logos too, about the size, about the quantity of time that appears in the image, the positions, all of this, and give us a score. In this case, as you can see, the first image with the shoe, the logo is present. In the t-shirt, is present, but in the other one is not present. So because of this, we complement all technologies, and we use logo recognition, image recognition, and image fingerprinting, because in some cases, one is valid and the other no.
Juan, may I ask you one other question?
Sure.
With logo recognition, you and I were having a conversation about sometimes we see counterfeit listings on certain marketplaces or social media sites starting to use maybe like a WhatsApp number or a Facebook logo because they want to maybe take you off the platform and move you on to a private Facebook to transact this counterfeit. Could we use this logo recognition to identify inside of a listing where someone is listing a product but has the a Facebook or a WhatsApp telephone number trying to take you off the platform to a private area to transact this good? Would you be able to find that with that logo recognition?
Sure. Even we have two different approaches in logo recognition. One is the one just explained, but the other one is what you said, because usually no legit provider or seller use WhatsApps or Instagram or Twitter accounts in the images. Only the counterfeiters do that because they want to hide from the standard text technologies the text numbers about the telephone number or the Twitter account or the Facebook account or the Instagram account. So it's another indicator that the product is probably a counterfeit or the replica or something, if we found this kind of logo. And this logo allow us to use combining logo recognition with OCR to determine the number itself. And we gather that information too and store the information related to the seller, the Twitter account the same, WhatsApp or whatever. So it's a very, very valid usage of logo recognition, not only for brand logo, also for social media platforms or marketplaces or whatever.
That's a game-changing opportunity right there. I think that is one of the challenges as we see these circumvention. All of the things you described are techniques they've been using because really keyword search has really been the only solution. So deploying these sorts of different kinds of recognition pieces of artificial intelligence really sort of add a tremendous amount of opportunity in this space to keep up with the speed of these counterfeiters for sure.
Yeah, and additionally, we can also search using the images, usually the catalog images or that kind of images. We can search using that images, and even that the result are the same that you can reach with Google or Bing or whatever search in the web using the images, give you a tendency or give you a lead to where you can find new providers, new marketplaces, new rogue websites, or new sites where the people is selling the product. So for landscaping or that kind of studies or investigations, is a great technology, the use of images.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And we've seen more and more brands that have been in this space for a long time thinking about sort of the next level of brand protection, about how to target in this vast size of counterfeiting today. how to target their investigations. So some of these things help us put together who might be someone, if you wanted to really do a deep dive targeted investigation, who you would select, what seller would you select to really deep dive in. I think this thing brings a lot of light, a lot of spotlight on who those sellers might be.
Exactly, because at the end, gather all the possible information that is public in the marketplaces, or even hidden in images, like we're talking about these images with the WhatsApp or the Twitter. Gather all of the information helps you to create a good case against this counterfeiter.
Yeah, it shows intention to evade detection. Makes them a bad guy right out the gate, and that is sort of the thing that I think brands want to know is which guys are doing this, maybe by accident, maybe just a one-off person, for someone who's developed an entire business doing this. And I think this thing really does help highlight which sellers are doing this, as a real business model, unfortunately, and which brands would want to go after, either through litigation or raids or whatever. That's great information.
Yeah, even if there is another use of this technology that we have is about the fake known images. Fake known images are a gallery of images that some websites provide to counterfeiters with high quality images about different products. So we feed our platform with those images, and we use image fingerprinting to detect that images. Because if you detect one of those images in a listing, the probability of that product is a counterfeit is higher. You know for sure that this is the product, but also that this is probably a counterfeit because it's using a image that usually is used by the counterfeiters.
Right. Even product that maybe a brand doesn't make, a known bad image, an item, a product made in a colorway that the brand has never built. We could use this and create this library of known bad images and identify counterfeit goods right out the gate.
Exactly. At the end, what we're looking for is a combination of techniques that give us a good score or a good confidence about that is the asset and what kind of counterfeit we're looking for. So
Great.
now
This technology using image recognition really changes the game. I think one of the things that I took away from when Juan was describing today is when you use a generic listing, like a men's basketball shoe without a branded title, that could bring back several hundred thousands of results for which probably not very many companies would have the opportunity nor the time to sift through 100,000 results. It's too broad. And so using this technology to go through those hundreds of thousands of results to yield, 200 results that might be worth reviewing to see in fact they're counterfeits would be absolutely a game-changing piece in the technology of and really the fight of counterfeits.
Yeah, the other thing that is important in this fight is the counterfeiters or the infringers evolve. So this kind of technology give us the ability to be in the race with them and evolve at the same velocity. So at the end, we can retrain models based on the new images that appears or the new galleries that they use for fake known images, or even improving this kind of technology to cover more products or different aspects of the images. This kind of approach give you be a step ahead of them.
Yeah, exactly. That's the challenge, right? Its question is, can you get ahead of them? Can you keep up with them? I think today in the traditional brand protection space, it's really a chase. I think the future is the possibility of either A, keeping up with the counterfeiters or actually getting ahead of the counterfeiters. And I think obviously, here at Red Points, we take the challenge of how does you get a step ahead? And I think with those technologies that Juan shared earlier is certainly the gold standard of how that might be achieved by using a multitude of technologies as opposed to a single technology.
Yeah, about the single technology, the funny thing is, for example, the image recognition technology could be great in some products. If the product has any unique characteristic that we can train with, is perfect. But if the product doesn't have any unique thing, so it's impossible. So that technology doesn't work in that kind of products. No all techniques, nor all technologies work for all kind of products. So need to adapt the set of technology that we have in best interest of the protection of that particular product. There is no silver bullet here. Every product has its own problem and its own characteristics, and we need to adapt the platform and adapt the training that we do to this product in order to be efficient to play against these counterfeiters with thousands and thousands of listings.
Yeah, exactly. I think that is really that's really the sort of the gold standard. It is what really needs to happen to get to the next phase. Is there any other? I don't see any questions. I don't know if anybody on the team had any questions, but I think we've covered quite a bit.
We're seeing some questions, Daniel. So we are reading them. And
I'm not seeing them. Okay, see if you can find them on your site. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. The same logo is present on the trainer at the top. The parallel lines go left to right and far of the trainer.
So on the slides for the logo,
because the two lines went the other direction. Yeah.
Go to the slide so we can see it. In the low one.
It's
the next one.
Next one.
Next one.
I believe
the top shoe and the lines go the other.
Even the logo could be flipped, could be in different color, could be upside down. Everything is valid. There's no need to be exactly in the same position. Even if you have a box and the box is in some angle, the logo technique, the logo recognition technique gives you the opportunity to know that that's the logo. There is no need to be exactly in front and in the same position. Yes, we can train with any logo. If you have a particular logo, we can train with a logo. The training in logo is really easy. It's not a big problem. Usually the logo are very distinguishing thing.
And that's a really good point too, Juan, because people may take their picture of this item when they list it at different angles or intentionally upside down or whatever to try to, make a confusion from being picked up in some standard way. So a technology that can recognize it on an angle or going the other direction is really critical.
Yeah, I see another question here.
Okay.
Oh, it's a clarification, I think. I mean, can a user scan their logo rather than type in keywords? Yeah, we can have a logo from any user, any customer, and train with the logo that they want.
Yeah, but I think what they're asking is, can they just start with the logo scan as opposed to using keywords? And I think that might be the question.
Search, it's kind of complex because just the logo is no way to search just for a logo on the marketplace. It's not something that you cannot do. Usually the marketplaces, I only know a few that let you search using images, but usually it's the product image, not the logo itself. But could be a point to start at the end. If we put the logo and the logo is in the seller page or in another place in the marketplace and is indexed, we can search that point and start investigating from that to detect the real problem of the real product. But the logo itself, unless you are protecting the logo, that is another kind of protection that we can do. If you are protecting products with the logo, just searching the logo is not very efficient.
In other words, you have to start with shoes or shirts or housewares. I mean, we need some category, some product to bring into the mix in order to then run the logo across that.
There is a good one here is when you do these bigger searches, how many results do you get? 100, thousands? Usually we get hundreds of thousands. Obviously, depend of the brand that we're protecting or the kind of product that we protect. Anyway, we try to have a funnel, so we don't put everything in the platform at the same moment because it makes no sense. But at least we try to get for every marketplace that you have, almost 5,000 to 10,000 different listings from each of them. And with this set, we start. After we have a confidence about the models and about how we are working with this particular product or with this particular customer or brand or logo or whatever, we can play with the funnel and open the keywords to have wider results or restringe it if we are missing too much. I don't see any other questions. Anyway, we will review it and we can try to compile them. But thank you everyone for attending this webinar. It was great having you here, and hope to see you in the next one.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.